Hey, welcome back to Album April. It's April 18th, and today I listened to the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill by Lauryn Hill. Critics freaking love this album. It won Album of the Year at the Grammys and is currently number 10 on Rolling Stone's 500 Best Albums of All Time. This is Lauryn Hill's first, and I think I can make this call, only studio album. She's not dead or anything, but it's been almost a quarter of a century. If we ever get another Lauryn Hill album, it'll be a miracle. My first impression of Miseducation is that Lauryn Hill clearly has a lot of talents, but editing down song lengths does not seem to be one of them. Every single song on this album, except for maybe like one or two, feel like they go on for too long. Most of the songs have a point in them where they just start to go in circles. Not just that, the album is also padded out with like skits of like classrooms, and they don't really seem to relate that much to what the songs are about. It all just felt kind of pointless. This album is pretty long, almost 80 minutes, and I'm reasonably sure that you could edit it down to about 60 and you wouldn't lose much. But putting that aside for now, a lot of the songs are very interesting. There's a bunch of different influences, pop, funk, soul, gospel, reggae. Not to mention that Lauryn herself is extremely talented, both as a singer and a rapper. When Miseducation shines, it shines bright. On that topic, my favorite song from this album was Final Hour. The rapping in Final Hour was amazing. It reminded me a lot of the rapping from Illmatic. Great flow, great lyrics, it had a nice confidence to it. Other notable songs on this album include X Factor, which I immediately recognized as the song that Nice for What sampled. They certainly sped up that sample a lot, so listening to the original seems kind of weird now. There's also Doo-Wop That Thing, which is really tight, well-made, and flows nicely, despite a kind of judgmental attitude in a lot of points. I also enjoyed For Zion, which is sort of like Lauryn Hill's take on Isn't She Lovely? It's about her son. A lot of the album talks about her pregnancy. I mentioned earlier that with a lot of the songs in this album, there's a point in it where it feels like they kind of just run out of ideas. So there isn't really a song in particular that stands out as getting the most tedious at the end. Most of them do. And that brings us to the final question of, do I think this album holds up? I didn't love Miseducation. There were a lot of great moments in it, but there were also a lot of moments that are kind of bloated and tedious. I don't really think it's quite as good as the critics say. Not to mention, it's kind of sad listening to this album now. Because when I listen to it, I do hear a very promising talent, one who has the potential for a long and eventful career ahead of her, but looking back on it, this seemed to be her peak. This was before that deeply uncomfortable MTV Unplugged show. This was before she became notorious for showing up late to her own concerts. This is before she went to jail for tax evasion. That next album, the one where she hopefully irons out a lot of the kinks and really lets her talent shine, it doesn't look like it's ever coming. So personally, I didn't enjoy it very much, but I could see other people getting a lot from this album. And it definitely is an interesting specimen, so make of that what you will. I'll see you guys tomorrow.